Star students, welcome back to the Astro Study Room. I'm Ember Faye, your friendly neighborhood fire fairy witch.
And I'm Jordan, a university researcher by day and a full-time astrology student by night. Our goal for this podcast is to feel like we're all just students meeting up after class to go over our notes together. Every other Tuesday, we will be exploring core astrology topics, breaking them down, and just chatting about how these concepts show up in our real lives and reflect on what wisdom the stars have to share with us. If you enjoy this episode, I hope you will consider subscribing and leaving us a review to help us grow this little cohort of astrology students.
I cannot stop looking at myself now that we're like going to be filming this and putting it on YouTube.
Yeah,
like,
we're on YouTube, baby.
We're on YouTube now. Yeah, I can't stop. I'm like, oh, is my hand look okay like this? Like, oh, maybe I have it in front of my nose.
Yeah, everyone definitely go subscribe to the Astro Study Room on YouTube. We're going to start posting video podcasts, and things will probably change a little bit as we kind of figure out how it goes. We're trying to figure out ways to like get a higher quality podcast than just a Zoom recording. So stick with us as things start to change and get better over time.
We have the winds of change are coming, was our little card pull.
But today we have finished the planets. Well, we've already finished the planets. We talked about that before.
We did finish the planets. If you're not following our social media, which is talking about us finishing the planets, if you haven't listened to our last few episodes where we've been like, yay, we finished the planets. We did.
It's all we've been talking about for months.
It's all we've been talking about. And Jordan and I met this past weekend to do some planning for 2026, get together some episodes. We're thinking of having maybe some interviews for you guys on here, some more of like conversational things, going over some topics that Jordan has been interested in for a little while.
That Jordan wants to talk about.
Topics that Jordan wants to talk about. Ember's like, I will talk about anything. So just put a microphone in front of me. But yes, so I do want to preface this episode by saying if you haven't listened to our planet episodes yet, you may want to check those out before listening to this because hashtag spoiler alert, we will be doing some processing today and we would love to have you along for this conversation. But if you haven't listened to the episodes, it may spoil some things. If you don't care, that's totally fine. If it's your first time listening to us, that's so fucking exciting. Welcome
to our club.
welcome to our little Astro Study Room. And yeah, just pause and then come back to this episode at a later date.
Listen, all 13 hours that we have ready to go, and then come right back.
For those who have been listening along the way, you know, like, hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
Let's talk. Hail and welcome. And let's talk.
Yeah, so today is kind of going to be like our debrief episode when we're going to talk about things that we learned along the way, things that surprised us. Also, I felt this way after every single episode. I don't know if you did, Ember. After every episode, I thought of like 10 more things that I wanted to talk about. Oh, hi, Kitty. About 10 more things I wanted to talk about with each planet. This is my moment now where I'm going to get to talk about those things again.
I love that. I did not feel that way. I was like, wow, I learned so much and my throat hurts from talking.
Yeah, you also do this right after you get off work, so.
I do, but it's always like the best part of my day. Even if I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm so tired.
I feel the same way, yeah.
Right? I jump on a Zoom with you and I'm just like, I'm so happy now.
I know. You know, it's so funny because we've kind of like made jokes before about like, you know, our pre-show and like every time we tell ourselves like, okay, we're gonna stop by this moment. We just did our pre-show. We just talked for like an hour. And I got on it. I was like, we're going to be done filming by 6:30. We're not even going to do a pre-show. We're going to pull our cards and we're going to get right to it. And then an hour goes by.
Oh, my B. I had things.
I feel the exact same way where like I have that mindset and then I get here and I'm like, let's talk about everything.
Let's geeky.
So yes, if you are new to the podcast, feel free to go back and check everything out. You don't have to. You're welcome to start right here or wherever you are. You can follow along on our free Patreon. We have content that helps you learn alongside with us. And of course, if you have listened to the podcast before, you know our Patreon has cute little donation tiers. So if you've been loving our little study sessions and want to help us keep the Cosmic Classroom open, we would be over the moon with your support. We've created some fun and affordable donation tiers to help you stay connected and support the magic behind the mics.
Support the magic behind the mic. Oh my God, it's so funny, Jordan. I feel like when we first like wrote this intro, that like support the magic behind the mic and like that like cosmic classroom, I feel like that was probably all me.
Oh, that was 100%. But then you also had the iconic line, buckle up, star students. class is out and the study room is in session. I said this on Instagram, but I was like, not like, it was whatever. I was not a fan of saying that line myself. I was like, this is so not me. And now I love it. I'm obsessed with it.
I feel like now we just got to say it. I mean, we should just dive right into our episode. We're like focused on making astrological information more accessible for you all. The astrology community has a ton of jargon. It can feel like an entry level barrier for us. But you know what? Like, we're here for you. We're here for each other and we're here to learn. So let us know how we're doing. Comments, like, subscribes, and give us feedback on how we can help you learn. As a reminder, Jordan and I are both students ourselves, so we definitely don't know everything. We'll be totally upfront with that. And we're learning together in this little astro study room, which is why it's so special to us.
So buckle up, star students. Class is officially out and the study room is in session. Back, everyone. If you are on YouTube, you get to see my cat Lilith as she says hello.
Lilith. Did you say Lilith?
Yeah, Lilith is her birth name.
Her full name.
Yeah, we call her Lilith. Her government name. That's what I meant to say.
Her government.
Yeah.
I love how you have a Lilith and I have a Persephone. Like,
Yeah. I wanted to name her Violet, and then Brendan talked me into Lilith.
I like Lilith.
Any Fourth Wing fans out there? Because I really wanted to name her Violet. It's one of those things where actually, if I could go back, I think I would name her Violet again. But yeah, this is our little astro weather segment. Today, I'm not really doing any astro weather, so we're going to kick it on right over to the local news with Ember Faye.
Yeah, and let us know if you all enjoy these local weather segments in the comments. Like, do you want them longer? Do you just want like a short little snappy thing for you? So our next lunar event will be happening on your screen right now. Jordan is pulling up the moon for us. It's going to be the wolf moon, or the full moon in Cancer, happening on January 3rd at 5:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And apparently it's another supermoon. I thought they were over, Jordan.
I thought they were too.
They
but
were.
I'm glad for it to keep going.
Yep. This will be our first of 2026, but it will be our last chance to see and take in that supermoon until November of 2026. And so, as we learned in our moon episode, shout out to our third episode if you haven't listened to that yet, the moon rules Cancer. And so we're going to be sitting here with maybe some extra heightened emotions, maybe feeling a little tender and vulnerable, knowing like that's okay. That's cool. Especially during this like Capricorn season of just structure and responsibility that comes in during the new year, right? Like everyone's like, oh, we need to start all these new things. It's a new year. Blah, blah, blah. Everything's going to be amazing.
I love that energy though.
I mean, I hate it. I feel like it's
fair enough.
I feel like it's so much pressure.
Yeah.
I guess like I subscribe to also like the witches' new year, which I really love, like around Samhain and stuff.
Oh, I subscribe to the astrological new year, which is Aries when we get into Aries season, which is Ostara.
I love that we have 3 New Years.
I know. It's always time for something new.
With that being said, it is the new year. We're all going to be talking about it. Everything is going to be talking about it. So maybe this moon will be a really good time to review like what is actually worth it in the new year. So like when everything in the mundane world is telling you that this is the time for new beginnings, new starts, this moon is going to ask you to reflect and see what is going to actually be tender for you, what actually matters on an emotional, personal, and family level. And maybe what is like surrounding those areas of your life you want to manifest again, like centering around the family and home life, right? Like that's the full moon vibe. And then actually a practice I'm going to start. This is going to be one of my New Year resolutions because fuck it, I hate it, but I'll still do it. Is that I want to document and track how I feel at each new and full moon. And this practice, I'm sure you know of it, Jordan, because it came from Elise Wells, her witch codes, which I am finishing up in, I think by the time this airs, I will have finished it maybe. But she gave us a document to be able to like track those and our emotions. And it's really simple. So I'm going to start that because I'm pretty interested in checking that out and like reflecting on that at the end of the year.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And so just like this is your reminder that if you're feeling extra emotional at this time, extra moody, be kind to yourself. This is one of those instances where you can just turn around and be like, oh, yeah, it's the moon.
Yeah, and I think if you're looking at the screen, what I want to point out too, I'm going to click on the moon. Jupiter's right there, so heavy emphasis on the extra moodiness. And then it is opposing Venus and Mars, which are both 1 degree away from the sun. We've talked about this before. This is considered an extreme combustion in astrology, which we don't like to see. Astronomically, this is when a planet gets really close to the sun that the sun is too bright and it washes out the planet and we can't see it anymore. So astrologically, it is considered the point where like these planets become weakened. So Mars might be weaker. I have also read that when a planet has dignity, it cannot be under the beams, and Mars does have dignity right now. Venus does not have dignity, and so Venus is feeling a little weak right now. But we're also coming up on a Venus Cazimi, which I think is in 2 days. I think it's January 5th, I think, is when the Venus Cazimi is. And that is a really great moment to attract people, to attract things into your life. Also kind of like to get things. So do with that what you will.
Interesting. So it'll be January 5th. So it'll be 2 days after the full moon.
I think it's the 5th. Actually, let's animate this.
I like this, Jordan. This is cool.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're not watching this on the screen, get on the screen. It's January 6th.
Okay. Got it. And what do you mean by when the planet has dignity? Like where it currently is located? Is that what you mean?
You remember like our whole like essential dignities?
Yes.
So if the planet is in one of those signs where it has one of the dignities, that's where it would be.
Oh, that's what you mean. That's what it says. Like
yeah.
It has
Do you
dignity.
remember how Mars does in Capricorn? It's also Cazimi that day. This is a Venus in Capricorn, and Mars. Isn't it? It is exalted, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a Mars Venus Cazimi at the same time.
What does that mean?
Again, I don't know if Mars would count because it has dignity here. If it does, I mean, it would be a lot of great things. It's a lot of good passions, good motivations, which is great for the new year. And then again with Venus, like good relationships, good being social, good finding the beautiful things, good, again, getting stuff, I like to say.
Kidding. And that's on January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
I leave for Mexico that day.
Oh my gosh. We would have to look at your chart and see what travels look like.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so we are back for our main segment. We are just going to debrief about how it has felt to go over all the planets. So Ember, to kick it off, I'm going to ask you, which episode was your favorite and why?
This was a really hard question. So my favorite episode, I like knew this was going to be a question and I like couldn't even decide which one. You know, I want to say Venus because I love Venus and I love deep diving into it. I also really loved our moon episode and talking about the avatar and like our moon archetypes. No, I think I'm gonna go with the sun because it was like our first. Yeah, I think it was like our first time. It's the one that like sticks in my head probably because it was like our first really like deep dive where we realized very quickly we checked in with our vibe with each other. And it just created so much conversation that we ended up, right? We've talked about before how that episode was supposed to be like the
all
sun.
The planets.
Yeah, all the planets. We constricted to the sun and the moon and then had to constrict even further because we were just so excited and we were talking about so much. You hit me with like the Disney character like archetypes and I was like, wait, I love her. So I think that's the one I have to go with.
Okay, well, I was also going to say the sun for a lot of the same reasons. Yeah, because like it is the one that kind of like sticks out to me the most. It was a lot of fun. I felt like really proud of that episode. I felt proud of a lot of the information that we came up with. And then like we had the one episode before that, but I guess it almost feels like that was the first episode. And that's kind of where we got to like really see how our chemistry settled together, which has been really exciting. And so that one just like has a special place in my heart, I think.
Oh my gosh, the chemistry. That was the word I was looking for.
Yes.
Our chemistry. Honestly, for some reason, like Mercury is in my head too, because that episode feels like it was the first time that we had a moment where it was like we discovered something together.
Yeah.
it had to do with the liminal space of like Hermes and Mercury and how Mercury, I think you might have made a reel about it.
Ooh.
Where we kind of where we like, or maybe I had made the reel, I don't know, but you had taken some promotion clips.
Mhm.
And it had to do with like Mercury being this liminal space between the unconscious and the conscious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember that the reel. I can't remember what was said right before, but I do remember saying like this is the vibe of the podcast. Like this is the goal that we're trying to get is like two students just talking it out, and when you talk it out together, more ideas and inspiration can come out that way rather than like just studying solitary.
Yes.
So I was actually, the Mercury episode sticks out to me as well because that's the episode that if we could go back and redo it, that's the one I would want to redo. That's the one that I have the most to that I want to add to it. And it's gonna be really hard when we go into like the zodiac signs because we've been talking about how like we need to make these episodes shorter, more so for like sustainability and how long it takes to edit these and record these. But I want so much more. Like I want to dive even deeper. So it's gonna be hard to cut it back for the zodiac signs. But there's so much more I want to talk about with Mercury that like I've learned over the past few months, or just things that I'm like, I should have thought of that in the moment.
You know
So
what's so great, Jordan?
what?
It's our podcast. So if we want to
It's
do a
like we could do a
Mercury,
part two.
we could do
All of
part
2026, we just do the planets again.
two.
Oh, that would be
Wait,
great.
that'd be so funny. No, I mean, I think like that's, Jordan and I have talked about trying to like weigh the heavy academic research side with like more like we're calling them, and as we've called them, other sods. But I think doing other sods on like updates about Mercury, like we could easily do that, so that could be
Yeah,
really fun.
that's true. Which episode would you want to redo if we could? Which we can.
Which we can. I don't think I do want to redo any.
Ooh.
Is that a cop out answer? I like love all
Kind
of our
of, but I also have
episodes.
a cop out for a few of these. So,
Um, no, I love all of our episodes. I'm trying to think like, no, I like them.
well,
Um,
which planet has surprised you the most?
I think Pluto.
Ooh,
I loved our Pluto episode.
yeah.
I don't know why. Like, it was a
We had
planet
good
that
energy in that one.
we had good energy, but also I just honestly didn't really care about Pluto. I think up
I'm
until
so
like,
surprised. I feel like you would be a Pluto girly.
no, but I don't think it has any. Should we pull up my chart and see if there's any like,
Do you want to?
I don't know. I feel like we could. Is Pluto any significance in my chart whatsoever? You might know off the top of your head.
I don't think so. No,
Are we
that's.
about to share my whole chart with all of our
Do you want me to?
17 listeners?
Shut up. Hey everyone, this is Ember's chart that we're looking at now. So if we look to Pluto over here, it's trining your sun.
Mm.
That's significant.
What does that mean, Jordan? Tell us when something is trining something, because we haven't talked about that yet.
A trine is a beneficial energy. It's considered like the Jupiterian aspect. So it's like when the good things flow easily.
So Pluto in my second house is trining with Cancer and Mercury in my 10th house.
Yeah, the sun and Mercury.
What did I say?
Cancer.
Cancer. Yeah, no, sun. The sun and Mercury in Cancer, in the sign of Cancer.
Yep.
So,
Makes me think you make good money with your job.
I was just,
Yeah.
does it mean I like burn through, like I burn it and then I get more and then I burn it, it like dies and comes back?
Yeah, it
It
makes me think that your career provides for you pretty effortlessly.
Where does Pluto come in with that?
It just lives in the second house. I guess to make it more Plutonian, I would say that that maybe has not always been the case for you, but
Definitely not.
yeah, and then your career.
The death and rebirth.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that, Jordan.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was Pluto was definitely the one that surprised me because I just was like, okay, whatever, Pluto. I was like more excited, like we're gonna finish the planets, but then I was like, whoa, I like Pluto. Oh, this like Hades vibe is cool. Also, the cartoon Hades was kind of hot. Like, I just, anyway, what about you? What planet supplies you?
Surprised
You.
This is one of the ones where I didn't like have a good answer for this one. I mean, like a little bit Mercury for like the reasons we kind of talked about. Like that was kind of where we had our first like brain blasts, as Jimmy Neutron would say. I've enjoyed our outer planet discussions, and not so much that they surprised me, but those were kind of the ones where I was like, I don't really know where these are going to go, and these are kind of like the ones that were most out of my comfort zone to talk about. So I don't know. I don't think they necessarily surprised me, but those are the ones where I was like, I've been interested to hear what you'd say about all of these, but those were kind of the ones where I was like really interested in how we might differ from each other on some of that. But I don't think any of the planets really strongly surprised me more than the other.
After the conversations with the outer planets, how did you feel? The conversations with the planets as we spoke and conversed with the planets in the universe. How did you feel afterwards? Were you like fulfilled by those, or how?
What I'm really interested right now, partially because of our conversations, is like really diving into what do the outer planets really signify in a birth chart, and like we've said before, like I lean traditional in astrology, but I'm not like strictly traditional, and I don't really label myself that way. But pure traditional astrologers don't use the outer planets, and I guess what something that interests me is just like how the modern planets have taken significations or been given significations from some of the traditional planets, and how does that change things? Like Saturn having meant death, and now Pluto means death. What does that mean culturally and societally? And did Pluto always mean death? Like if we look back at charts from the year 600, could we see the fall? Is that when the Roman Empire fell?
I have no idea.
Okay. Could we see death with Pluto if we look at a chart from the 600s, or did it not mean anything yet because it wasn't discovered? And some people believe that. Some people believe like the planets they were discovered because they now were relevant or something like that.
That
So I'm
is so
curious in exploring
interesting.
that. Yeah, and I think we've been talking a bit about like we should do an episode, like an othersode on modern versus traditional astrology, and this would be one of the things that would come up a lot. Is like what place do the outer planets have, not outer planets, the modern planets have? And then even like a conversation of like, is a Scorpio rising ruled by Pluto or ruled by Mars or co-ruled, and how does that look? Because like I do use a traditional rulership, but Pluto is, as a Scorpio rising, Pluto is additionally also significantly placed in my chart. So
Hmm.
am I co-ruled, or am I just ruled by Mars? And I wonder that for other Pisces rising, Scorpio rising, and Aquarius risings.
Yeah, that's so interesting. The first thing that comes to my mind is that all of these astrological significances, sig-
Significations.
significations.
Yes.
Is that the plural of significance?
Signification.
The significations of these planets were assigned by humans, but there is this spiritual aspect to them that some people do use. Like some people, I mean, the question of we assigned all these anyway to begin with. Like it's not like these planets came about and we were like they came with these significations. We made them.
Yeah. And that's
So
that's kind of the question too, is like the modern planets kind of just got significations attached to them, probably because of the mythology that was attached to them. I actually don't even think Uranus's mythology matches very much. I don't know the stories very well. But the traditional planets, some people believe, had thousands of years of observation before they were assigned
and we just don't have
significations.
that yet with the modern planets.
Yeah, but some people don't believe. Some people believe that it was more not divine intervention.
Like
Uh,
divinated, like divined.
yeah, I don't know. That it just like psychically came to people in a moment, and that's how the traditional planets also got their meanings.
And it was written down
So
and people just or like collectively people like
no,
from
not I don't know, because I mean no one actually knows the answer. So it's kind of whatever. What do you think? And
where
what
astrology came from.
we could totally do another sode on that.
I'd be so interested about that actually.
So astrology as we know it today, the earliest records we have, I believe, are 4,000 BCE, 6,000 years ago. And that's like the astrology that we know now can be traced back down to Mesopotamia, 4,000 BCE.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna. I
Add
think
that
the
to our ideas.
earliest. I don't know if it's the earliest birth chart or the earliest ephemeris. I believe it's called the Anamu Anu Enlil, and that is our oldest astrological record.
I could listen to you tell me Steph Jordan all day.
Yeah, I could do
Honestly, you
that.
could tell me like really ridiculous, crazy things, and I think I would just believe you.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, you have one of those. You just have one of those voices that are like, she says this and it is true. She did her research and I believe her.
So separate from all of our conversations. I've been thinking about that so much. I think as a librarian, like, I want to like this is so dramatic to say, but like, we're trained kind of to like be able to cipher through misinformation. And all I really feel like is that like, yes, maybe I can cipher through it better than someone who hasn't learned to cipher misinformation. But also I'm just really aware of how easy it is to not necessarily even trick people, but just like accidentally spread wrong information.
It's so true. I see it in science all the time,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But when that good information is there, it's so hard to weed through all the BS to like get to the truth.
Yeah, and not everyone can do that.
Yeah.
We can all only be specialized in so many things.
Yeah. And I'm also guilty of like reading something on Facebook and being like, oh, this thing I
Sounds
read on
legit.
Facebook.
I'm really
Yeah.
guilty of like someone like on TikTok has, they seem credible and I'm like, sounds legit. And I think that's kind of what you're saying with me with astrology. Like it sounds legit because it came from Jordan.
So that is exactly what I'm saying. Oh my gosh. I curious, Jordan, like around that, did you have like a biggest like, oh my gosh moment when you were doing your research or like in the episodes?
I definitely know the first one was when I came up with the sun story and I connected it to like the hero's journey. That was like the
Yes, I
first
love that.
I was writing, I was like, this is beautiful. Like this is amazing. Like I was getting chills. I was like, I'm so good at this. That was the first one where I was like, yes. This isn't a big aha, but I think since this only happened, I think like the last episode, the Pluto episode, where we talked about like you actually kind of have practice with natural houses. And so I've been looking into natural houses more. And this is all going to go into our traditional versus modern astrology conversation. But I think there is a reason why people like should is a strong word, but I think it is good for people getting into astrology to start with traditional astrology, because that is where you learn the foundation of where it all came from, and you can kind of like respect the ancestors that taught us this and that were able to pass it down. And I think something that a lot of people don't always realize is that astrology had a huge break where like nobody was practicing astrology. I think it was 1700 to 1900-ish about, I think, where like it was banned from universities, so people stopped talking about it and it was kind of just banned everywhere.
Was it because it
So
was like people saw it as witchcraft or like why?
I think it was a lot of things. I think it was like the witchcraft, divination, it wasn't Christian. There actually is a thing called there's a famous old text called Christian astrology and it has nothing to do with Christianity. So traditional astrology was evolving as time goes, and then it stopped. Like there just wasn't any more astrology being talked about, and then it pops back up like late 1800s, but really like 1900s. And that's where we are today, as it's evolved from there. And so something like the natural houses, which did not, as far as we know, did not exist in traditional astrology. My question is like, I would ask modern astrologers, like, why and where does that come from? Because if you look at traditional astrology, like, there is reasoning for everything and why it all came to be a certain way and explanations for it all. And I think a lot of this is I don't know, I feel like this is so judgy. I think not everyone has to do this. I do think a lot of modern astrologers don't know why things work the way they do. And maybe they don't, like, not everyone needs to. So I guess, like, if it works, do you really need to know why? It's kind of up to you if that interests you or not.
Ooh. I think
So,
before we do a episode on traditional versus modern, maybe an episode on that information. I'm adding it to our notes. Um,
okay.
that information of like where
A history episode.
a history episode.
Yeah,
I
we could
think
do
that could be
that.
very helpful for myself mostly, and I'm sure for all of us.
That works.
And Jordan, I would be like totally remiss not to mention our Saturn return episode.
Yeah. Oh, that one's good. Definitely got a special place in my heart.
Yeah, I think if we were to say like what was your favorite episode that I have listened to that episode probably 3 or 4 times. Um I really love it. I also love sharing it with people. So
Yeah.
sometimes I'll be in the car with somebody and I'll be like, you want to listen to my podcast? And it's
And this is the
always,
episode you pull up.
yeah, the Saturn return one is the one I go to. Because especially if I don't know if they actually like want to learn astrology. Um, it's
Just
such
learn about my friends.
Yeah, it's such an important conversation. And I still think about I still get emotional when I listen to it. I still get
Oh,
like super teary eyed and stuff.
that's why I can't keep listening to it.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I
yeah.
mean, it was so special. And we got to do it so early on, too. And I think because when we had originally come up with the idea, I kind of wanted to do it this coming May. Like, part of me, like, astrologically, there were reasons why I wanted to do it next May, but also I kind of felt like, oh, we're too new to take on like this big of a project kind of thing, or like this thing that has so much weight. But we've gotten a lot of good feedback on it. I think we nailed it.
I think so too. And I think Jordan and I have talked about maybe sprinkling in some interviews when we find the right fit on our podcast because it's a nice way to like break stuff up. We have an interview. Should we announce our interview now? Is that like
Yeah.
weird? Okay. We are going to be interviewing. So many of you may have heard in our episodes us talk about Elise Wells from Seeking Numina. She has a huge following on Instagram. She runs special containers via Zoom.
Where we met.
Yes, where Jordan and I met. It has a special place in our heart. She runs retreats in Greece. So these are spiritual retreats. She is a Greek earth priestess, trained high priestess in the fairy tradition and the coven that Jordan and I are both a part of. We're so excited. We're going to do an interview with her at the end of the year and post that for you all, talking a little bit about how she uses astrology in her practice as a witch and a high priestess. Maybe get into some. Elise is also super into mythology, history. She knows so much. Like I could ask her any question.
Oh, yeah,
Oh my
let's do
gosh.
a history episode with her.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we could talk to anything about her with her. But yeah, so that'll be happening. So that'll be like our next interview episode. So keep an eye out for that in like early 2026.
What was the hardest planet to wrap your head around? Like, is there one that like made the least sense to you? Or that you just feel like still kind of disconnected from? Or however you want to answer that.
Yeah. Uh Uranus.
Mm.
I still don't really get it.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
What do you think of Uranus? We say it differently, so every time I'm like gonna copy.
Uranus. I just try really hard not to say Uranus.
Yeah.
But what do you mean? Like, what do I think about? No, I just, this whole idea of like surprise and shock and like change and the collective. I'm just like, what does that even mean? Like, how do you incorporate that into anything?
I think a lot of people would use it like in transits, because again, with the not again, with the modern planets, you I think most people wouldn't wouldn't really give them too much weight until they're like in a really close aspect. I think, I mean, 3 degrees would probably be the maximum. Like it has to be 3 degrees away from whatever for it to do anything. So if Uranus is like getting close to like 1 degree away from your sun, like that could be a moment of big change in your life. And then more, I read them more as like collectively, like when they shift into like how Uranus is going into Gemini, what does that mean? We've had some conversations, you and I, Ember, about like what do I want to do with astrology? Because I don't think like birth chart readings is like what I see myself doing forever. And I don't really see myself like teaching either. Like maybe that'll come up, but I'm more interested, at least right now, I'm more interested in the research side of it. And I've been thinking what I think I might want to get into is mundane astrology and like using astrology and connecting it to world events and politics and culture. And so I would look at Uranus too and see what might this 8 years look like? And then I would personally look at it with the US's chart and see what this would look like for the US as well.
Oh my gosh, upcoming events, like a little upcoming event section in our
Yeah.
episodes.
Yep.
That would be interesting. Do you, how are you feeling about all the planets? I felt like you had a pretty good baseline to begin with.
Yeah, I think kind of touching on stuff before. I think the modern planets are the ones where I'm like, I can't totally wrap my head around this yet. But everything else I think I do have a decent grasp on.
Yeah, I think so too. But that's why I think that's one of the reasons I think I joined this podcast to begin with is just to start to develop this relationship with astrology, to be able to incorporate it into my witchcraft and witchy practice. I definitely don't have a drive to be like an astrologer, but I think astrology is such an important toolbox, especially for a witch. And so to understand and start to learn and really gain connections with these bodies that like live in the cosmos that surround our entire existence feels very important.
So where did you like when we I don't know if you thought this far ahead. When we started the show and you agreed to join, what did you like see yourself getting out of it? And is it exactly what you thought it would be, or is it totally different from what you thought it would be?
I think that it is a lot of what I thought it would be, like having to do research and understand and start to learn. Like again, for me, it was more of the basics. Like I have vibes. I understand. I've been like listening to astrologers. I've worked with Tanae for a little while. So like I have a baseline understanding. It's the memorization part that I struggle with. So I was like, okay, going through and talking in depth about these things will help me incorporate that information. But I think mostly what I've gotten from it is just like an appreciation for the depth of astrology that I like didn't even know existed.
That's the fun part. That's the part that like scratched the itch for me, like when I got into astrology, and then you learn like, oh gosh, this goes a lot deeper than I thought, and then I completely dove headfirst.
Yeah, and I love that about you. And I've loved our relationship that's developed from the
Yeah,
podcast
me
too.
too. Yeah, so with all that in mind, what are you looking forward to with the podcast in 2026 or anything?
Ooh, or anything. I would love to see our group grow. I think, we have our Patreon and it's pretty, I guess. Like we have journal prompts on there and we have our Instagram that we've been putting like a lot of effort into social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Follow
And so
us.
yeah, follow us. I want to see how that grows and I'm really excited about the conversations that we could potentially have with other people and their thoughts on the episodes. I'm really excited to keep going, you and me, and to explore more of these other sods and conversations. Like we've had a pretty not strict structure, but kind of where we've like had this
Mhm.
structure that we've been doing it. And so we had our planning meeting. We're really excited. We've got new ideas. And so I'm just I'm looking forward to implementing those for the new year.
Yeah, and I think we touched on it before, but we were talking about doing more other sods, and then we're thinking what we want to do is actually kind of between now and March, kind of just do some other sods and some fun other type content, and then in March we're going to start doing one episode a month of a zodiac sign, and then one other sode a month. So in March we'll start with our deep dive into Aries, and then take a year to go through all the zodiac signs.
I love it. I'm so excited. All right, Jordan. So I was looking at our last scripts for our other sods, and I didn't realize, but like our last other sode was where we started the lightning rounds.
Oh,
So
what was that? Was that the I don't remember. That was the
it
Saturn
was
return.
it was the one about you, how you like study a birth chart.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah. So yeah, our other sods have also been really fun. I like didn't mention those, but that's I think just because the planets were on my
Oh
mind. But the
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, our other sods are so fun too, where we just like shoot the shit.
Yeah.
So are you ready for your lightning round, Jordan? And
I
you
am.
can
Is there a theme to this one?
um
Yeah, astrology.
yeah, it's astrology. You play along with us,
Yes.
listeners. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Who's more chaotic, Gemini or Sagittarius?
Oh, people are gonna say Gemini, but I'm gonna say Sagittarius.
Why?
I think something about like the uncontrollable fire is just a lot different than the light air.
I feel like I'm going to ask you why for all of these. Who's more dramatic, Leo or Scorpio?
Leo.
That's fair. I thought I was
You're like, I
picturing.
don't need to ask why.
No, I mean, that's fair, but Scorpio was like, I even wrote down, I was like, Scorpio's really intense feelings and have goth emo vibes. Who's the real villain, Capricorn or Pisces?
Oh, like neither. But if I had to pick, oh, see, Capricorn's the easy answer, so I kind of want to say Pisces, but like neither.
I
Capricorn.
thought a lot about these. So like if you had to have like the perfect villain, would they be a Pisces or a Capricorn?
Oh, it'd be Scorpio.
Interesting. I
Are you
think I'm
raising your
raising my
hand?
hand. Um,
No, I feel like, well, because one, with villains, I like the morally gray characters, and I think that Scorpio would do that really well.
Okay, that's fair. I was thinking more
Oh,
like
maybe Aries would be the perfect villain.
I have an Aries villain in my story. But no, I was thinking like there's like the delusional Pisces, like they're at a space where they just believe these
Oh,
things
I
like
thought you
so
were saying the
fully.
drug addict Pisces.
No. Like just like they like believe these things about whatever they're doing. And then
Oh.
the Capricorn was like pretty. I was like, yeah, CEO, like I'm a big boss. This is not quick lightning round. I'm sorry. Most likely to ghost you, Aquarius or Aries?
Aries.
Most likely to send a risky text message, Leo or Libra?
Leo.
Most likely to cry at the club, Cancer or Pisces?
Pisces.
Oh, really? I was definitely gonna say Cancer.
They could both cry at the club.
Let's say
I think Cancer's a little bit more guarded and might wait till they get home to do it. And Pisces, I feel like can't control when the emotion, like they're there, they're
oh,
there.
that is so fair. Thank you so much for being here in the study room with us. We were really looking forward to breaking up some of the more hefty academic episodes with these fun other sods, and so we hope you enjoyed our chat.
If you'd like to go a little bit deeper into the studies with us, don't forget that we post journal prompts, rituals, and study guides to what we talk about over on our free Patreon, and it is linked in the show notes.
Jordan, so do you want to tell everyone? So this will be our episode. I think this is our last episode of 2025, right?
Yeah, it is actually.
Oh, awesome. And so do you want to tell everyone what we'll be doing next time in 2026?
Yeah, our first episode of 2026, we're going to do a little chatty session looking at the astrology of 2026 and the whole year ahead and seeing what sticks out to us.
Yes. And so we hope you have a wonderful, amazing holiday season, New Year's, that you come back and join us because we love having you.
Yeah, and you can always email us at theastrostudyroom@gmail.com. Thank you all so much for listening to our show. And as always, this podcast is my practice of asking big questions, uncovering the hidden truths, and creating an accessible space for others to do the same.
And I'm so grateful to be learning alongside Jordan and all of you, sharing our resources and diving into what it means to connect with the cosmos. Thank you so much for being part of this, and we'll see you back in the study room every other Tuesday.